We better get a cast recording of this revival of chess or I'm going to be so upset. The music gives you chills. It scratched an itch for me personally that I feel like I've been missing from Broadway. I, for one, really love a big rock opera type of production. The music and lyrics are by Benny and Björn and Tim Rice. Benny and Björn, who are 2 out of the 4 members of ABBA, which like this musical predates Mamma Mia. It's from the connections that were made during this musical that Mamma Mia was born. If you love ABBA music, you're going to love the music in Chess. Right from the overture, which was amazing, and it better be on that inevitable cast recording. I'd be so mad if it wasn't. The energy was insane. You can feel the bass in your chest. I didn't want the overture to end. And honestly, for a show set during the Cold War, which it's constantly reminding you of in this version, it could have gone many different ways. I was actually really nervous that this show would be boring and hard to follow because famously, Chess is known for having been reworked countless times. There's been so many. The original London production was a hit. When that got reworked for Broadway, it was very much a flop. This version very much feels like Chess the musical for dummies. Is this a bad thing? I don't know. I don't think so. There's a lot going on in this show, so maybe having a more simplistic, spoon-fed version of the story might actually be beneficial to modern-day audiences. Some chess purists are probably not going to enjoy the way that this version of Chess is told, but I feel like a large population of the theater-going audience isn't going to mind as much. This version of Chess is incredibly self-aware, and probably too self-aware, in my opinion. The new book by Danny Strong from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What? It's very much turned into almost a parody. Like that's how self-aware it is. It is filled with modern day references to current events. It is super heavy-handed in its commentary. And to be completely honest, from a dramaturgical perspective, I'm not even sure how much this musical really gets right about the Cold War. They're really confusing about the whole thing. At the beginning, the arbiter would say like, oh, this is almost a true story, or there are elements of this that are a true story. And even at one point goes out of his way to really point out that something really happened in real life. I was paying attention. I have no idea what he was talking about or what he was excited about, but I do love the concept, seeing this game played out by 2 opposing characters. Meanwhile, in the background of all of this, there are 2 larger players that are trying to keep the world from destroying itself. And I just think that makes for a really high stakes, excellent story. This might be a hot take, but I actually think that the Cold War concept and setting of this is really holding it back from its full potential. And I know some of you in the comments may be like, that's crazy. That's what the whole show is about. But hear me out here. There's a show on Netflix called The Diplomat. Let me know if you watch it. It's a fantastic show. And what that showcases is the diplomacy behind the scenes and what you wouldn't necessarily know is happening to keep the world safe and to keep tensions down. All very small, nuanced things. And I just feel like chess is at its strongest when it follows a similar path to that. So maybe in a future rewrite, which is inevitable, they should take the Cold War aspect out and instead focus more on an issue of diplomacy. Maybe something that is fictional, like The Diplomat does, and still keep the characters. And I think that might actually free up the story to not be so focused on trying to be this historical epic. The stakes cannot be higher for the characters in chess, which is why it was a really concerning choice that the arbiter in this production is so irreverent and derisive. This is an aspect that I think is unique to this production, but I just think that showing the arbiter in this way, it really cuts the story at its knees before it even picks up steam. For example, the arbiter is responsible for introducing all of the players and characters to the audience. They use that opportunity to throw some really cheap jabs at the characters intended to make the audience laugh. There's a character named Walter who is a CIA agent. And when Walter enters, the arbiter says something along the lines of like, he's such an a-hole, you'll come to learn. You're meant to laugh at it, but I feel like it takes away from the importance of this character. And the guy who played Walter is fantastic. He had this wonderful pair of glasses, which I know is more so on the costume designers, but I just thought he rocked them. Sean Allen Krill, he did a really good job. And again, those glasses were amazing. But to my point, to have the arbiter making fun of the characters right before they're introduced to the audience, it dilutes the potential for the stakes of the show to be taken seriously. And the show still wants you to take those stakes seriously. I mean, Bryce Pinkham, who plays the arbiter, brilliantly executes the direction that the creatives have chosen to take. The fact that Bryce Pinkham is able to make this work is very impressive. It's not a choice that I necessarily enjoyed, but he did it really well. Aaron Tveit as Freddie Trumper, and they do make a joke about his last name. He plays the a-hole in this story very well. He has a very clear point of view on this character that I was really impressed by. He finds a lot of different opportunities to give this character depth and layers, and he doesn't just stay at the same level the entire time. Aaron Tveit, we all know, is an incredible talent, but I just think he levels up here yet again in his acting, and he just seems like such a generous scene partner as well. He gives his scene partners a lot to react to and a lot to work with. The real standout of the show, however, is Nicholas Christopher. I think that this is potentially his Tony-winning performance, but we'll see. I think it's going to be really close between him and Joshua Henry in Ragtime. I don't know which way it's going to go. I think as we get closer to Tony season, we'll have a better idea of how the awards are going to sort themselves out. But Nicholas Christopher just really impressed me here. I'm a huge Nicholas Christopher fan. I saw him as Seymour in Little Shop of Horrors and absolutely fell in love, and that did not change here. If anything, it made me appreciate him even more as an actor. It's really impressive how Nicholas Christopher keeps the audience on this character's side, despite him making very irresponsible assumptions and choices. There are times where Anatoly is told that his loved ones are in danger or that they need him, and he's like, it's a lie. No, and I'm like, no. I feel like you should be taking things more seriously than you are. And yet somehow Nicholas Christopher keeps me rooting for this character. He also really sells the chemistry between Anatoly and Florence, here played by Lea Michele. I know a lot of people are very excited to see Lea Michele back on stage. Vocally, Lea Michele is perfect, and it is amazing to hear her sing these songs live. Her voice is wonderful. However, I do feel that Lea Michele's performance lacks a sort of nuance that is present in the other actors' performances. And I just don't think she brings a lot of authenticity to the role. There would be times where this character would recommend different chest openings and different moves for Freddie to use during his matches. And it was something about Lea Michele's delivery here. I just don't believe her when she was speaking about chess. Like I didn't believe that she was this strategic mastermind of the game that the script wants you to believe that she is. And to be completely honest, this is probably another hot take. I don't really think that the character of Florence needs to even be in the story. I mean, let's go full heated rivalry. All of her iconic songs can go to Svetlana, which, by the way, Hannah Cruz in this production is amazing. For some reason, I just kept feeling like Florence's storyline could be omitted. To be clear, I am aware that she is important to the story as it is written, but it feels like her character is specifically there so that Anatoly makes certain decisions. And I just think that we can get that character to make those same decisions without her there. Like, I don't feel like Florence's relationship with Anatoly is as strong as it necessarily needs to be in order to justify the choices that he makes. So with that in mind, it's like, why don't we just get her out of here? It didn't even seem like Danny Strong knew what to do with this character in this version, especially with the way he chooses to end her story. The ending of Florence's story doesn't really seem to align with the original intent and message of the show. It's just not as interesting or as impactful as other versions of the ending that we've seen in other productions. The ending does feel rushed and a little all over the place, but something that was very consistent throughout the entire production, and I just want to give a shout out here, was the unbelievable ensemble. They were in sync the entire time. The ensemble as a unit felt very harmonious here, and by the way, they looked amazing. The wigs that were given to the ensemble, they were so good. Everyone looked fantastic. Lorin, Latarro did a fantastic job with the choreography. I mean, I'm not the best judge at choreography. I have learned from some of my reviews that some of you disagree with my takes on it, but I just say what brings me energy, brings me joy. And here I thought the choreography was fantastic and was as satisfying as the music that it is paired with. I couldn't help but move in my chair just a little bit. Like, I really loved it. And speaking of, here is a view from my seat. I had an amazing seat. I went to the box office about 40 minutes before the start of the show. And all that was really left for me was a seat in the rear mezz for like 101. And the woman at the box office was so nice. She was like, listen, if you want to pay $20 more, I can get you a seat center orchestra. And I was like, sign me up. I do think that the show is very much designed to be seen from farther back. If you have splurged to sit closer to the stage, you are going to enjoy it just as much, trust me. But if you are sitting farther back, you're going to have a fantastic time because there's just so much to look at. I mean, the scenery is very minimalistic. However, they use a lot of screens and projections, and those are sort of all over the space. So I think the stage pictures are even more satisfying when you're seeing them from a distance. So, should you see Chess before it closes? I think that a big draw for people is going because of Lea Michele, Aaron Tveit, and Nicholas Christopher. I'm so excited for people to discover Nicholas Christopher more. He's fantastic. And I do think that if that is your reason for going, you're going to be incredibly satisfied. The vocal performances here are phenomenal. And if you really don't quite care about the story and just want to hear amazing music and amazing singing, you're going to be very happy. And like I said, the music really scratched an itch that I had been craving with my Broadway musicals. I love music that I can feel. And so to feel the music in my chest throughout the entire experience just made me really happy. Those are my thoughts on Chess, now playing at the Imperial Theater. I would love to read your thoughts in the comment section below. I would also really appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out some of my other reviews and theater-related content on my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to stay off your phone while at the theater.